I want to bring in former FBI intelligence executive Josh School. Let's just get your initial thoughts about what we saw in Aurora, what we're hearing about in Massachusetts. We know that this is all across the country, but specifically in Aurora, why would the Aurora Police Department be reluctant to say this is a typical gang activity from Train to Aragua?
Well, I think they're looking to substantiate proof in a law enforcement setting for a judicial proceeding. Well, you can highly suspect that it is gang from Venezuela. Until you actually can prove it, they're going to be reluctant to put out a statement. Further, we don't know whether or not there is process underway to actually disrupt conspiracies, which would then be public in court documents.
I see. Okay.
So how bad do you think this is? I mean, obviously we're waiting on confirmation of exact ties to the gang, but you look at that video and wow, is there something happening in that city, in that town? I mean, Aurora, just outside of Denver there, people are terrified about what they're seeing. I mean, they're ransacking the Target stores there. Businesses feel targeted. And I've worked the phones this week trying to get people to come on to talk about it. No one there wants to talk about it. Why? They fear they will be targeted by these gangs.
Right.
And gangs rely on that fear to keep communities quiet. I saw that Aurora's creating a special task force. There's already task force and gang task forces that can be oriented with federal dollars towards these gangs and to disrupt them. This is hugely concerning when you see that.
And when you look at, this is one thing that was getting me, man. You look at this dude, you look at all the rest of these guys, they look like, okay, they own some negative Venezuelan stuff. They got clothes because they've gotten all these funds and resources from the government to make sure they can dress and buy cars and clothes and stuff. But you look at this guy right here, glass on top of head. The guy doesn't even look like he matches that group. Who is this dude? And how old is he? He looks like he's the building owner.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like he is the orchestrator.
Right.
The level of violence and intimidation that's going on. And if law enforcement writ large, which will be required to disrupt this gang, doesn't focus on them, they're going to continue to grow.
There was a chance for the vice presidential nominee on the Republican side, J.D. Vance, to hit the Democrats nominee, Kamala Harris, on this. Watch here.
Kamala Harris let in people who shouldn't be in this country to begin with. Kamala Harris opened the border, suspended deportations on day one, and stopped Donald Trump's Remain in Mexico policy. When Donald Trump is president, we're going to re-implement deportations, re-implement Remain in Mexico, and tell people they got to go back where they came from and come through the proper channels.
That's right.
We know from polling that the economy is the #1 issue, but immigration is right below it. And is from your experience looking across the nation, Colorado's not the only place dealing with this. What are you hearing from other entities?
Well, other entities, you're seeing violence we saw in New York, Louisiana, Miami. The most recent reporting has sex trafficking rings going all the way through Virginia and other states. So again, criminals are going to exploit the border. In order to exploit the border, they have to have relationships with Mexican cartels, which are very powerful.
I remember that.
Venezuelan gangs operating in the United States with relationships with Mexican cartels is very concerning for U.S. law enforcement. And when they go into these smaller towns, Aurora is relatively large, but they're not a major metropolitan city like New York.
And then you look at these guys with the guns, they're the same stature build as the ones that were just kicking the police officer. Same stature build. That's how you know this is a tie. A lot of these people from the same places. The guerrilla warfare, stuff that goes on over there just doesn't happen here. And that's why they can do what they do without no thought, because this is natural. This might be more natural to these folks. But what gets me is they all fresh with fresh. Look at this dude. What kind of bag he got on? He got a Go-Yard bag. Like what? I mean, look how fresh they dress.
And they want you to give up your guns.
Your guns.
There has to be federal resources directed to, in order to disrupt this and dismantle this gang before it continues to grow in power.
You know, with your experience with working with gangs and fighting against them, you look at what's happening there in Denver, and reportedly, this gang has green-lighted their members to attack police. I mean, the worst kind of criminal is one who has no fear of repercussions, no fear of breaking the law, and no fear of police even confronting them. How do you fight this?
Look at that. That's wild.
How do you show up and take care of these guys?
That is horrible.
Look what the door next to what does 303 says. 303 says, I'm working from home. Literally, he's got it looks like a ring alarm on the door and everything. So you could tell this is just people living their day to day. And they got a sign up saying don't disturb because I'm working from home.
That means nothing to them.
No,
They're gonna be
but I'm
over there
saying
next.
you have working class people. You got people doing that, and then you got them come up here like this in the clothing and the money that was given to them by the Biden Harris administration. Them
Trash.
people, those people need to go. Them people need to be locked up.
Trash.
Them folks need to be locked up for this. And I ain't even talking about the gangs. I'm talking about the Harris and Biden that administration. They need to be locked up.
Well, first of all, you work
Look
in,
at that's
in a
crazy.
joint
And
environment
that's so
where you have
scary,
state,
too.
local, and federal law enforcement working together. You're aware of the threat, so you take huge precautions.
Man.
But it is concerning that an armed gang would think that they could operate the same way in our country that they did in other countries, where we have reporting of them killing law enforcement that weren't cooperating with the gang. The way you do this is you create the task force, and you operate with Safe Streets task forces to dismantle at the highest level, and that transcends all the way from the start and how they're getting in to when they're here, dismantling them, putting them in jail, and then deporting them.
Yeah, we know who's at the top. He goes by the name Cookie Monster, apparently, and he has a very lengthy rap sheet. And if you're looking for somebody at the top, he apparently is the guy.
Whoa.
Monster indeed.
They
All right,
got a
thank you so
name.
much for joining us. We appreciate you.
Shot in the building where Cindy and Edward Romero lived until today. They loaded up their stuff and moved out.
I
It's
know
been a
they
nightmare.
did.
I can't wait to get out of here.
The couple's car and many others here were riddled with bullets after a shootout at the complex earlier this month. The Romeros say the trouble started when a large number of migrants began moving in.
Look at that.
They had not been able to move out for different reasons.
The city nonprofits have lined up to help
Finances.
the migrants that have come here, but nobody is helping the American citizens, the residents that are trapped in these apartment complexes.
This
isn't
is
just
crazy.
Americans. This is other Venezuelans that are living under this control, that are being extorted by the control of this gang.
Yep.
We did speak to the mayor's office this afternoon. They sent us a statement saying that so far there are no code enforcement violations taking place at this.
Listen to that and listen to this clip. So not only that,
want Donald Trump to win.
not only that, well, I switched clips. Not only that, they were forcing other Venezuelan residents. There was a clip I saw where they forced Venezuelan residents out of their home too. So not only is it a thing that they're forcing people out of home, they're forcing their own culture out of their
they don't
homes
care.
because they like, we want to take over.
Yeah,
And
they don't
what do
care.
you want to? What you think they're taking up for? It's they trying to make that a dope spot, live spot, dope spot.
Exactly. And the mayor says there have been no code violations.
What kind of crap is that?
Yeah, that's so sucky.
But mind you, for you to take over a spot and it to be a sanctuary city, they know that.
No
You can't
code
go take over.
violations. Oh my gosh.
Go try to take over. Try to just run through Georgia like that. Go try to run through Alabama like that. You know, it's although things might come through like the sexual things that have been coming through, like they mentioned earlier, with people taking people like that. But as far as trying to just take over, that won't fly everywhere.
crazy.
So I want to show this other clip right here. And I told it, and y'all should, you really need to listen to this guy. And I was like, and this really made a lot of sense to me. And I just, it's the trigger button on this thing is so sensitive.
Of no gang members ever taking over apartment complex in the United States of America. You never heard about this. They tried to take down my live because Kamala Harris is responsible for this. And the Democrats don't want me to talk about how not to vote for Kamala Harris because she hasn't done her job. The borders is a mess.
Mm-hmm.
And I have the right, the freedom of press, the freedom of speech to talk about this. So they could take down my live all you want to. I'm going to talk about this because allegedly Kamala Harris gave immunity to immigrants. Her and Joe Biden, allegedly. And these are the results. And I don't know if a lot of you know how dangerous these gang members are. These are not no average gang members. These are some of the most dangerous gangs in the world. And they're joining the MS-13s. These are organized gang members. These is not no little small little Crips and Bloods. And like I said, you have never heard of an American gang taking over apartment complex and police don't react, don't do nothing, police said it is nothing that they could do about it. He told the apartment owners that it was nothing that they could do about it.
Wow.
This is unheard of.
It is unheard of.
This is unheard of.
How can
So
they?
when you go out there and you try to vote for Kamala Harris, think about this right here. Think about these gang members coming in your house, snatching you out your house and taking over your house, and there's nothing that nobody can do about it. All thanks to Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. This is what Governor Abbott was trying to make sure didn't come in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
This is what he was trying to protect Texas from.
Yep. Completely.
Now they in Denver, Colorado, and they're going to just spread. It's going to spread all over the United States of America.
I believe that.
You're just not going to be able to just deport these guys like that. It's not going to be deportation. Is not going to be easy. Taking out these guys, you're gonna need the National Guards or something. Allegedly, you're gonna need the National Guards. Allegedly, this ain't no small time gang organization. This is big time. This is the jail system. Like they in like a high population, like a high level security in a jail system. This ain't no play. So I want you guys to know one thing, what we up against. So when you were at that voting poll, think about this right here. Think about your grandmama. Think about your mama getting snatched out of the house allegedly. Just as an example. Think about that. Because these guys are just not going to be in Denver, Colorado. They're going to spread. This is going to spread. And it almost seemed like that this is a setup. This almost seemed like this is planned out. Because Donald Trump said the people that's coming from over the border are from mental health institutions and from jails. They are letting the people out of jails and let them flood over here in the United States of America. That's really weird. It's almost like it's a plan. You know what I mean? This is weird. This right here, my boy. This right here, my girl, is very suspicious. Very suspicious.
And I want to say this. And I want to say, that was
Is he a police officer?
I think security. I think some form of security or law
It's
enforcement.
beyond suspicious. It's very intentional.
But listen, babe, listen.
It's
What I heard is when I'm seeing this is how they're going. This how they generate. I'm gonna be mindful, but this how they generate mass control. What you do is you see how simple this is.
Who are you?
The government.
Oh, okay. This is what your views.
This is my views, and this is not facts. This is just me talking views, not facts. What I see is, we believe in Christ Jesus. We read the Bible. Revelations talk about these times coming. I believe that this is how mass control is done. You go in, you let so much total chaos happen within the country. You say, hey, you know how y'all want to be, how we can protect y'all? Y'all go ahead, everybody, take this little bit right here to go right in here and go here. Go here and here, or here and wherever put it. Because that way we can identify you. That's how we know, because we got crazy people taking over the apartment complex. We got these people that run this area. We've had all out civil go on. So we need, for your protection, we need to be able to identify you. And this will protect you, and also you can go to the store and do all these things if you are labeled. Why else not? It's more than just the voting. Some of these gang members, you think they're interested in voting? They ain't voting in their country. They ain't coming to vote over here.
No.
Some people may take and go do that, but that's not the key point. The key point is bigger than this dollar-wise.
Of course. That was the whole point of the lax and not doing what should have been done, and not, reinstating or continuing the policy Trump had in place. I mean, I can't even, what did they actually think? They didn't care. It was all, and that's what I feel like as well. It's all part of a greater plot and a greater scheme. Our country has never been in such an uproar. Yes, there has been crime, it has been an ongoing thing. Crime in our nation, but not at the level that it is. It is at an all-time high. People want to say, no, crime is down. No, crime is not down. Crime is not down. Even though the papers will tell you, some of the papers, now some of the articles are saying that it's at a 22% increase. Now it's jumped up to 67%. So you really got to dig to see what newspaper you're reading from, but it's quite evident and apparent. Look at how the shift has happened since all of this, and now what they're trying to do to even prevent, continuously attacking Trump. Nevertheless, when he becomes president, it's on. I already know that's at the top of his list.
But all this makes sense as a reason to why the powers that be don't want President Trump to be in place, because they have all these plans they put in place, like open up the border so they can do this, and then they don't need anybody that's going to step in the way and slow the plans down, because what that ultimately slows down to corruption, crooked mind, a dirty heart is the dollar, because that's what it all comes down to for you to be doing everything. There's some billions worth that you can or get your little hotel spot on the moon or whatever. It's money involved in this. This is not some simple stuff.
Yeah.
I believe that we are in a time, if you don't know Christ, you need to know who Christ is. The Word of God talks about this. Daniel talks about these times. The Revelation talks about this time. We're in a time of Nehemiah and the wall. These are these times. We're in the Ichabod coming. Ichabod is coming. So we're in these times, and it's always a game. It's not a game to the ones that see what's coming, the ones that hear from God, and the ones that pay attention to what's going on. It's ridiculous to the people that will get fooled, the people not just saying it's all on politics, but the people that mindset are probably going to vote for Kamala and these groups of this Marxist mindset. The people won't be prepared. The people that get dealt with, because you're going to look at life through the lens that everything is good, everything is cool, and it's really not cool. Whereas us over here, we stand in guard like this, Holy Bible weapon, preparedness with a different mindset.
Yeah,
but they're playing, but they're still playing on the stupidity of people. And people are falling for it, and they can't see. Your life may not be what you think it's going to be if you keep trying to put somebody in a space. The life that you think you're going to get for putting in some, it might flip and flip backwards on you.
Especially someone who is clueless. I don't care. You can put up all the articles you want about what she so-called did as a prosecutor, what she so-called did as, vice president, which we know was very little to nothing. If her one job was to be the border czar, what happened? What had happened was she did nothing. She did not do her job. Or better yet, she did do her job, because that was the whole plan, to let all these tomfools in our country.
That's what I believe.
And how are they still getting more privileges and benefits than people who are American citizens in this country? How is that? Please, you better wake up, great people.
And this is my last thing. I think that was so sought out that they allowed this to happen within that woman's administration as a VP. And now the goal was to put her in the main seat where she can let even more things so they can invoke everything. It's a dollar tap. This is money. And a lot of people a lot of times when there's corruption, crookedness, evil in your heart, people have to get hurt so you can get paid. Look at that family that got put out. They had to leave. Obviously, they didn't have the finances. They hadn't left. They couldn't leave prior because they didn't have the money. That's what it was.
They were prying the door down. How horrific is it to be on the other end, on the other side of that,
with no weapon,
and somebody is coming into your place and you can't leave? It's only one way in and one way out. And it's like, that is just absolutely horrible.
This is
so
crazy.
How long do you think it's going to be before it spreads to other cities? And I don't think it's just going to be sanctuary cities. It's going to be other cities as well. Just because the sanctuary wasn't in Sam Hill, does that mean? That means nothing to them.
I guess what you would need to know is what the gun law is in these states.
No, you need to know what the gun laws are in your state. That's what you need to do. You need to know what your gun laws are, and you need to be able to defend and protect your home. Defend yourself and protect your home.
Did I tell you that California, I think I mentioned this to you, but California used to be where you can only buy one gun a month.
Yeah, they changed it.
Now it just flipped, and they're saying you can buy as many guns as you want at one time.
Interesting.
Something's changed. It's
Interesting.
changing that they're aware of, that they're talking about.
Interesting. Oh, I guess they do want you to protect yourself because they know what's coming.
Exactly.
Well, allegedly.
Allegedly.
But that is a new law. I saw it myself. That has changed. It's like, oh, wait a minute.
Oh, I could buy 10 guns versus in California, you got to wait a month to buy one a piece. What kind of protection do you have like that? If you want to have a arsenal, if you got 5,000, you want to make an arsenal real quickly. You don't have to wait 6 months to make it.
Go to the gun range, white people. Go to the gun range.
And learn how to fight. All right, stay prayed up, man. The Lord Jesus is with you, man. I know some of y'all might not believe. I'm sorry, but I'm still going to believe for you. And all I can say is 2024, be more.
Talk less. We love you guys. Subscribe to the channel. Share the video. Comment, like, and turn on your notification bell, great people. And stay safe. Be smart.
Bye.